Another horse who won on the day was Jan Brueghel, and Aidan O'Brien now has 4 of the top 6 in the betting for the St. Leger. The betting market is now headed by him with Geoff Banks bet. Jan Brueghel, the 3-1 favourite for the St. Leger. He's unbeaten, but there's only been one Gordon Stakes winner in the last few years to go on and win the St. Leger, and that was Conduit back in 2008. So it's not necessarily the best breeding ground for the race, although Aidan O'Brien has won it with Mogul, who went on to win Group 1s, and the GOAT, Highland Reel, who was one of his best ever horses. Los Angeles is the second favourite at 4-1. Illinois 6-1. Godolphin's Ancient Wisdom 7s. Sunway for David Manussier 7-1 shot. And Highbury rounds off the 4 Aidan O'Brien horses at 8-1. Aidan's strength and depth in this division is pretty frightening, Sam, and this fella has added to it. I thought this was a smart performance. He's a horse I'm excited by.
He just wins. It's not very pretty, I don't feel. And before coming on, Emmet, I was looking at Jan Brueghel, however you want to pronounce it. He was a Flemish artist in the 17th century. I'm sure you knew that already.
Bring in the knowledge.
He was a painter of immense diversity, is the official quote. And I couldn't help but feel his horsey namesake is anything but that. He is just a gritty stayer, isn't he? He's a one-track horse for me. And that everything would suggest going up to 1 mile 6 is going to be next for him, and everything would suggest the trip would be great for him. Yet for me, I'm not quite buying this performance. Seeing off Bellum Justum into second, who won the Derby trial, didn't he? At Epsom. So the Blue Ribbon trial they had there, that was a listed event. He's since been tried over 1 mile 2, didn't really work out. Didn't work out for Bellum Justin in the Derby. Has gone to 1 mile 4, still hasn't won. I just don't think he's that great. And the way that Jan Brueghel was, does he really know what he's doing when it comes to the nitty gritty of the race? He's got enough class to win and see it out, right? But I'm not sure if you could really trust him to know what he's meant to be doing out there. And again, it probably comes down testament to Ryan Moore getting as much out of the horse as he can, or maybe in this case he's just doing enough so that he keeps winning. But if you're looking at the St. Leger picture again, I would chuck another horse into the frame. He's 7-1. I've been mentioning him for a few weeks now. I think Sunway's put in a couple of quite encouraging performances. He wasn't that great when he was last seen at Ascot, but I thought in the Irish Derby, he ran a great race there. And Matt Chapman has written in his Sun Racing column today, he's had a chat with David Monisier, and he says that he's going to go straight to the St. Leger now. So Sunway's definitely going to go to the St. Leger.
Oh, that's interesting.
And look, there's not going to be 4 O'Brien runners in that race, are there? So, hey, you may even get a equally tasty, probably not as tasty cash out as Opera Singer, but you might even be able to get another 10p back or something like that if you were to back Sunway now. Because I'm sure he'll go off shorter on the day. I just think he's been racing in higher quality races. You know, I think he's been racing at a level above sort of what Jan Brueghel's been doing. And Los Angeles, Illinois, Ancient Wisdom in there as well. I mean, cases can be made for them. But for me, Highbury, was he always that high? His odds there? Was he 8-12?
Yeah, since Royal Ascot, yeah.
Okay, right. So maybe he's not going to go as well. But for me, now we know Sunway, St. Leger's definitely going to be a target for Sunway. I'd say he still makes a bit of appeal for me.
There's only a handful of trainers who've got entries for the St. Leger. It's really sad to see, actually. It's just bonkers. I think Aidan O'Brien will have at least 3 runners in the race. I'm imagining that Kyprios is going to go for the Irish St. Leger, so they're not going to send a 3-year-old up against him because there's no point. He had multiple runners in the race last year. He's had multiple runners in the race several times before. I'd prefer a bigger price about Jan Brueghel. Stamina is not going to be an issue for him. He's a full brother to the Irish Derby winner Sovereign, for example, and he's a full brother to Dawn Rising as well, who just stays longer than the mother-in-law, to quote the couch. And the further he goes, the better he's going to be. I can see him developing into a proper cup horse for them when they need a replacement for Kyprios. Hopefully, touch wood, he stays in training and can win a 3rd Gold Cup next year. But this fella can then emerge on the scene. I do wonder about the race overall, if just like Los Angeles or Illinois might just have a little bit more experience for the Doncaster test, but he might end up being the better of the long-term prospects, Geoff.
Performance at Goodwood was good in another daft, soft type race. I think they had 6 runners for it last year and 4 this year. But by that, it was a good performance by the horse. Every time I was watching the race, I'm thinking something's going to go past it, something's going to go past it. But it's like a dirty tramp. And by the way, I just wanted to thank Sam for the explanation of where they got the name for this horse from. I didn't know you employed academics on this show. In which case, what am I doing here?
Next week's guest, Professor Niall Ferguson.
Thinking to yourself, somebody's going to go past this, especially if you're a bookmaker, who literally don't want to pay out. And but they didn't, and so it suggests that he'd been scrubbed and rubbed and rubbed. It's like watching Willie Carson ride a horse. He'd been scrubbed and rubbed for around about 4 miles before, but by the time they got to the post, but kept finding a little more. So yeah, I think longer is better for the horse. Yeah, just a personal view.
Just quickly, I'll jump in. I forgot he carried a £3 penalty.
Yeah,
at Goodwood as well, did Jan. And Ryan said afterwards it was a difficult track for him. Yes, he carried the penalty too. I'm happy with what he's done. He'll get better. There's more class in there, which again suggests to me, while he might not know his job completely, it's a good sign that he is winning while still a bit clueless.
Yeah, he hated the track. He hated every second of the Goodwood experience and still managed to go and win. And it's a very important point to make about giving the penalty away as well. I understand why you would be suspect of that form, particularly with the runner-up. I think the runner-up is a nice horse. Is he a Group 1 winner? No, I don't think so. But he's a nice horse, for sure. And it was just a bit of a messy race. I'm not less than enthusiastic about taking 3-1 about him for the St. Leger, I'll put it that way. But I like him an awful lot, and I think he's going to be a really, really, really exciting horse going forward. Might very well be a big threat to his stable companion Kyprios next season, who hopefully will stay in training. He's just in a different league to everything else. There's probably only one horse that can actually beat him, and that's the horse who beat him at Ascot last year on Champions Day, Trawlerman. And even that, I think, if Ryan Moore could have that right again, he would do things differently. He can't really have been in peak form because they'd had such a torrid time with him. He nearly died. So they were just getting him back and rebuilding him. But this is the real Kyprios, and he is once again the king of Goodwood, Sam.
He's awesome, isn't he? What can you say about this guy? He's absolutely incredible. He's class through and through. He nearly died. I mean, Aidan wasn't sure if he was going to live again, let alone race again. I mean, they talk about the saying, it's all gravy, what comes afterwards. Just getting him back healthy was the main thing. So to come back like he has this season, it's great. These are the horses when he's still quite young, isn't he? But when they have a few years hanging around, I mean, Geoff, you must hate them because they just seem so tough to beat, don't they? And obviously going off short price and stuff, I imagine a lot of people putting in multiples and liabilities can rack up. But he's just an absolute superstar. I love him. I don't know anyone who's got a bad word to say about this horse. He's class through and through. I did see that I think Irish St. Leger might be next for him over a mile 6. And you can, I think this is nuts. You can get evens about him for the Irish St. Leger at the moment.
What?
With one bookie, yeah. Gia Velotto is the second fab at 5-2. I think
you could probably only get a fiver on, let's be honest. That doesn't make sense.
3-1 on, sure.
Of course.
If you provide your papers, yeah.
Your papers, please.
£3. It's over £3. Come on, be careful. It's harmful. I think Kyprios, he is a stunning performer. I think the horses behind him, they must be sick of his backside. All they literally see is his dust. I want to ask a question. What is Alan King doing? Alan King must be on a cocktail of drugs. What was he doing putting Trushan in that race on that kind of ground? What was he doing? Why is he not just literally sending Trushan to Cheltenham where he would prosper, literally prosper? I have no idea. And the people that back Trushan from 16-1 into 8-1, I want to speak to these people directly. A lot of people backed Trushan that morning from 16-1 into 8-1. I need you all to be opening accounts with my firm. I need the money. You guys need to be opening accounts with me because Trushan on good to firm ground or firm ground has no chance of winning a race. None. You all need to learn this. But I don't know what Alan was doing sending Trushan to that kind of race. I wish somebody could explain it to me. Perhaps you can, Emmet.
Well, he has won on good ground before, but it's well known.
It was a listed race.
Yeah, it was a listed race.
And it was, people looking for something to do on a Thursday night or something.
It's well known that he needs it soft. So I don't know what he was doing there. I was amazed that he was lining up. I had to like rub my eyes and go, hang on a second, is that Holly Doyle?
I was having a chat with a guy who does. I was having a chat with a guy who does PR, and he with Alan King, and he was saying, Trushan's going to run, hopefully past the £2 million career prize money mark if he wins. And I was looking at the forecast. I said, look, I'll give you £2 million, which I don't have if Trushan even runs. And he said, yeah, I agree with you. So, yeah, Geoff, what the hell he was doing lining up? Well, I was just waiting for the inevitable scrolling Twitter, Red Cross, Trushan's a non-runner, and the flurry of comments like, geez, who saw this coming, Of course he is. But it just never arrived. I don't know. I think Prix de Cadran probably his target. Is it just a little...
Just get on with it. Send him to the champion bumper. Start from there. Just get on with it. He's 8 years of age. Do it now. Stop messing about.
One of the few Cheltenham races that he's...
for that favoured soft ground that you might get at Ascot in October, November. But rest of the time, just... stick a few little hurdles in front of him. He'll be fine.
Imagine if the BHA did change the rules and allowed flat horses to run the champion bumper. Good night and good luck. He'd absolutely bolt up. He'd be 9 when Cheltenham comes around. There's absolutely no way they're going to pop him over a hurdle. They talked about it a couple of years ago. If they were ever going to do it, that was the time to do it. They didn't, and it's too late now. You can't even say, he's just not the force of old. He can't perform on that ground. But Kyprios, the GOAT, he's back. He was a couple of pounds below his time form win in the race 2 years ago against Stradivarius. But his racing post rating is higher than that same race. So make your mind up as to which one. Is he as good as 2 years ago, or is he better? That's a debate for another day, and the agencies can fight amongst themselves about that one. Very briefly, just wanted to mention the Niarchos horse Dreamy, who won one of the most valuable maidens run in the UK for Aidan O'Brien and Ryan Moore, landing a treble for them on the Thursday. She was really, really good. She's bred in the purple by American Pharaoh out of the Yorkshire Oaks winner Tapestry. So Aidan O'Brien would know this family very well. She beat 2 horses who had previous experience to just get up and win pretty impressively in the end. There's going to be more to come from her. 7 furlongs will be the lower echelon of her distance. The further she goes, the better she's going to be. Aidan O'Brien has only ever had 2 runners in this race previously. One achieved nothing, but the one who won it for him was Rhododendron in 2016. She went on to be second in the Oaks and was a 3-time Group 1 winner. Can Dreamy follow in her hoofprints? Possibly. Geoff Banks is currently going 20-1, I believe. Trish, is that right? Do we have the prices for the Oaks? Yes. 20-1 about Dreamy for the Oaks. We don't have enough form yet. We don't know enough about horses. There's bedtime story in there. Aidan O'Brien's got some serious fillies, but Dreamy, I think, is a horse that's going to be going places, and she's a very, very nice prospect and want to be really keeping on side. Keep an eye out for her and watch that race back. Really, really.
It's a better 20-1 chance than Opera Singer.
When Opera Singer wins the Arc, I'm not
letting it go.
I'm gonna be I'm gonna be so smug on WhatsApp. So smug on WhatsApp when she goes and does it. And if she's a non-runner on horrible ground, I'll just ignore that very, very quickly. Big Ebbs beats Asfoora with Believing back in 3rd in the King George Qatar Stakes, the Group 2. It's revenge for Tom Marquand and Mick Appleby, who ended the week as leading trainer at Glorious Goodwood, which is a spectacular achievement for him. Well done. Tom Marquand was brilliant here. I think the Australian filly should have won. That's just my opinion. But the money was all about Big Ebbs, Geoff. I'll start with you this time. There was unbelievable support and unbelievable confidence in the horse. He was a really good winner of the juvenile race at Glorious Goodwood last year, and he was really, really good on this day.
Yeah, he was. Clearly, I'm with you. Asfoora should have won the race. Didn't get the run of the race when he picked up. He gets a bump at the vital time at the furlong marker, gets beat a short head. It really is. But at that kind of speed, at that kind of rapid pace that they're going, it's amazing, actually. Goodwood is one of the places you can sort of walk along the track 2 or 3 furlongs and watch the horses thunder past. And the speed that they're going on that 5 furlongs is quite extraordinary. But Marquand broke extremely well. He had the run of the race, and everything went in his favour. I can't see him doing it again in the Nunthorpe.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the Nunthorpe he'll be a little bit more vulnerable. It'll be a bigger field, different track. York is a tricky old track at times as well. That being said,
all age race. There's a lot of bullies in that race who are not used to being bullied. And so I'd be taking on Big Ebbs in York.
Yeah, he did win at York at the start of the season. It was a nothing race, really. Although one of the horses, an ex-American that Richard Fahey now has, Dark Vintage, he's turned out to be all right. He's nice enough, but he was bombed out in the race last year when he was a juvenile. I think it was probably just a little bit too soon for him. He's going to be a different proposition this time around, but he's also going to be very prominent in the betting. So I'm almost certainly going to be looking elsewhere. And also, Sam, these sprinters just keep beating one another. So is Big Evs now the one who's going to emerge as the elite sprinter who will just crush everything going forward? Or was this his day and now it'll be somebody else's the next?
Hell no, this was just his day and it'll be Asfoora's at York. Absolutely nailed on. I think she's got a £5 or £6 pull with him at York as well. For a race she should have won at Goodwood. I'm not entirely certain the track quite suited Asfoora at Goodwood with the slight downhill. It just played into Big Ev's hands, I think, just burst out, and you're just going to be tough to catch from there, aren't you? I feel like Asfoora can be ridden sometimes a bit more tactically. She didn't quite get the run of the race here, did she? I think Living the Dream came out in front. She had to cut out just a little bit, was closing at the line, was in front a few yards after the line. I'd be all over Asfoora. The one danger for me would be third run in, what would it be, about 8 weeks, something like that. So, but when you're talking about these sprinters, it's not a really busy schedule. And obviously she's come over for Australia and the target is all these big summer races over here. But I cannot see Big Evs upholding this form at York. No way. For all that being said, a great week for Mick Appleby. I've got no idea what odds he would have been top trainer at the start of the week. But he also had, just a quick aside, was Big Mojo as well.
Yeah.
Same owners as Big Evs, who won the
same race
that Big Evs did. Yeah. So look, if those owners have another one in that Group 3 next year, we know who's going to be winning that, don't we? And I think went in at 25.
Yeah.
SP 25, something like that. So, but yeah, anyway, back to Nunthorpe, Asfoora for me. Although, I think third favourite now is Bradsell. Came back over in France in a listed race at the weekend. Holly said couldn't pull him up afterwards. Is a pretty proven performer at top class. Archie Watson does wonders with his sprinters, doesn't he? I think Bradsell, not sure what price was, maybe about 8, something like that. But I thought if the top two just go at each other again and there's any element of them being jaded, Bradsell coming back off nearly a year was really impressive listed race. I think York's going to be the target. Could prove a bit of value there.
I just worry about the bounce factor for Bradsell, but that's the only thing that would be the downside there. He's 7-1 currently with Geoff Banks' bet. Asfoora is 3-1. Big Evs is 7-2. The 3-1, please, Geoff. Thanks very much. She wins.
It's much better value than the 7-2 about Big Evs.
Oh, she wins. I kind of felt sorry for her.
Especially with the pull.
Yeah, the weight pull, definitely. And I think Oisin Murphy around York, Jesus, he's riding unbelievably well. It's ridiculous.
Don't forget, a lot of these prices are, based on horses, turning up. Of course, it's very likely that they will being sprinters. But a lot of these anti-post prices, the way that they're priced up, has to respect, the very liquid nature of anti-post betting these days. It's you see horses, quoted in races and all the rest of it, then they're gone. It's so fluid. There's more flapping goes on in anti-post betting now than ever before, understandably.
Oh, for sure. I do wonder, though, maybe we'll do City of Troy evens for the Juddmonte, Asfoora 3s for the Nunthorpe, Blue Stocking 7-4 for the Yorkshire Oaks, away and gone. And give us a bit of some more of that Opera Singer. We'll take 10-1 Opera Singer because you're so confident she's not going to win. Scumbag Lucky 15. Can't lose.
Yes. Let's hope they don't go off shorter, because we have to restrict people if they go off shorter.
Oh, obviously. I mean, that's just the way things are done these days. This is a paid advertisement from BetterHelp Therapy Online. Have you ever found yourself comparing your life to others? With social media, it's so easy to look at someone's Instagram and think, wow, they've got it all together. But let's be real. Everyone has their struggles, and often what you see online is just a highlight reel. One thing I've learned is that comparison can really steal our joy. Instead of focusing on what others have, therapy can help you center on what you want and how to achieve it. It's all about becoming the best version of yourself. Now, whether or not you've been in therapy, it's important to know that it's not just for those who've gone through major trauma. Therapy can teach you positive coping skills, how to set boundaries, and empower you in your day-to-day life. If you're considering starting therapy, why not give BetterHelp a try? It's entirely online, making it convenient and flexible, to fit into your schedule. You just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a registered therapist, and you can switch therapists at any time at no additional charge. With almost 5,000 therapists in the UK, BetterHelp provides access to mental health professionals with a wide range of expertise. Stop comparing and start focusing on what truly matters with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/furlong today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/furlong. This has been a paid advertisement from BetterHelp Therapy Online. The Final Furlong podcast is proudly brought to you by Geoff Banks Bet. Join the excitement and sign up to Geoff Banks online now to get 10% off any net losses returned as cash after your first month of betting up to £500 at geoffbanks.bet.